Hello, Canby Alliance Church. Good to be seen again. I'm coming to you on the week that leads up to Good Friday and Resurrection Sunday. Good Friday. We're going to have a Good Friday service this Friday, 7 p.m. And I always like to think that we can't really celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ on Easter until we go back to Good Friday and spend some time giving our attention to his death on the cross. And that's what we're going to do on Good Friday. Be about a 45, 50-minute sermon, 7 p.m. Hope you can join us. And then Easter Sunday morning, 9:30, we'll gather together and celebrate the greatest day in salvation history, in the history of the church. And that's the day where we celebrate the fact that death, that evil, that Satan, that sin could not keep Jesus down. That he rose from the dead, and it's made all the difference in the world. And we're going to talk about that. We're going to celebrate that on Sunday morning. Hope you can join us for that. I want to share with you a statement that somebody sent me last week. I think it's kind of making the rounds of cyberspace. And this statement has to do with the thief on the cross, one of the two criminals that were crucified with Jesus. And the story we find in Luke's Gospel, chapter 23, and I'm going to begin reading at verse 32. It says, "Two other men, both criminals, were led out with Jesus to be executed. When they came to the place called the Skull, they crucified him there, along with the criminals, one on his right and one on his left. Jesus said, 'Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing.' And they divided up his clothes by casting lots. The people stood watching, and the rulers even sneered at Jesus. They said, 'He saved others. Let him save himself, if he is God, Messiah, the chosen one.' The soldiers also came up and mocked Jesus. They offered him wine vinegar and said, 'If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself.' There was a written notice above him which read, 'This is the King of the Jews.' One of the criminals who hung there hurled insults at Jesus. 'Aren't you the Messiah? Save yourself and us.' But the other criminal rebuked him. 'Don't you fear God?' he said. 'Since you are under the same sentence, we are punished justly, for we are getting what our deeds deserve. But this man has done nothing wrong.' And then this criminal said to Jesus, 'Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom.' And Jesus answered him, 'Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise.'" Here's the statement based upon this story that we find in Luke's Gospel. How does the thief on the cross fit into our theology? No baptism, no communion, no confirmation, no speaking in tongues, no mission trip, no volunteerism, and no church clothes. He couldn't even bend his knees to pray. He didn't say the sinner's prayer, and among other things, he was a thief. Jesus didn't take away his pain, or heal his body, or smite his scoffers. Yet it was a thief who walked into heaven that very same day as Jesus simply by believing. He had nothing more to offer than his belief that Jesus was who he said he was. No spin from brilliant theologians, no ego or arrogance, no shining lights, skinny jeans, or crafty words, no haze machine, donuts, or coffee in the entrance. Just a naked, dying man on a cross, unable to even fold his hands to pray. He simply believed that Jesus was who he said he was. There's a lot to think about there. And when I think about that, it reminds me that God's grace and mercy extend far and wide. God's grace and mercy extend to a seashore where he calls Peter and Andrew and James and John. And then God's grace and mercy extend to the cross that his son is crucified on, when one of the criminals simply says that he believed that Jesus was who he said he was. I'm also reminded that God's grace and mercy don't depend upon us mouthing, the right salvation formula or saying the right words. Grace and mercy depend upon our hearts, and if our hearts are pointed in the direction of Jesus. This story gives me hope for all of us. Let's be reminded this week as we head into Good Friday and Easter that God's grace and mercy includes every one of us. If our hearts are pointed toward him, no matter what we've done, no matter who we've become. That's the hope of Good Friday and Resurrection Sunday morning. Hope you can join us Friday night and or Sunday morning. Hope to see you there. In the meantime, just know that I love you. God bless you. Until next time, bye-bye.